Hey everybody, Catherine with Clover Events here again. Today we're going to be chatting with our friend Kara Gordon, a wonderful invitation designer with Milestones. We're going to be chatting today about some of the trends she's been seeing in invitations and save the dates in light of the COVID-19 pandemic, and some of the ways that you can communicate with your guests and just kind of keep in touch with your guests through this. So thank you for being here, Kara. We've been loving all of the information you've been sharing on your social media outlets with incredible advice for couples on how to navigate this unprecedented time.
Good.
Yeah, excellent. So we'll just jump right in. So what sort of advice do you have for couples still convinced about whether or not they're going to postpone their event, but they're approaching the deadline to order their invitations?
This is an email I get at least once a day right now. So most people, in normal circumstances, I would say send invitations anywhere between 8 to 12 weeks before the wedding. 12 weeks usually is, destination or some sort of holiday weekend. Mm-hmm. Now I'm changing, rewritten all those rules. Now I'm more comfortable with that 6 to 7 week time frame. By Emily Post standards, 6 weeks is perfectly fine. I have always bumped it up just given that times have changed. People need advance notice. Now everything's looking a little bit different. Now we need more time to know if it's something that needs to be postponed or if it's within the realm of possibility. So that extra couple weeks, few weeks, give at least the couple, extra time to see how things unfold. So, and just kind of reassurance that they don't need to necessarily do it right now. We didn't know where we were going to be 2 months ago, and we certainly don't know what it looks like in the next 4 weeks. So having 2, 3, 4, 5 extra weeks is really a godsend right now. Yeah. So if we're sending 6 to 7 weeks before, we get a little more time. The only hiccup there is that response state. So it doesn't, thinking, okay, if we're sending 6 weeks before, it arrives 5 weeks before, you likely are not getting those responses magically in your mailbox like a week later when you really want them. So while I love a written response, I am going against what I normally would say. And in this case, I would say do some sort of email response. If you really are mailing 6 to 7 weeks before, have it a separate card. Don't necessarily junk up the beautiful invite. But I think here you're going to need some sort of immediate response, and digital is the way to go.
Yeah, and it gives them the opportunity to be flexible too if something does change at the last minute, as it has been. Not being tied to a card and a date does allow them that flexibility too.
Absolutely. I mean, things could change from the moment they send it back to the moment it's received. So that's an excellent point. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So from your perspective, what happens if they already have their invitations in hand, they've placed the order, or the order was already in place when they decided to postpone, and then they need to alert their guests of that date change?
Mm-hmm. So it's played out a couple different ways. In some cases they're printed, but they haven't yet gone into the mail. Other cases they're printed, they're out, guests have received them, guests have maybe even responded back.
Yeah.
So depending on which avenue you're in, if you've got them in hand and you've decided now to postpone, you can make do with quite a bit of the pieces of the set that don't have the date. So I mean, when you look at the set as a whole, the mailing invitation or the mailing envelope, the response envelope, all those little embellishments, the vellum gatefold, the wax seal, the liner, the belly band, all of those pieces are really, they're just perfect. Assuming you love them the way they are, they hold on to those, they're ready to go. It's usually just that the invitation and the response card. So those two pieces, while it's annoying and it's an extra expense, it really is just those two that you need to reprint, and everyone's being my printer has been so accommodating and definitely giving some discounts just to make it easier for everyone. I mean, we're all in this together, but usually you can salvage most of it. So it's not, terrible. If they've already gone, again, it's something you can work out. You can send a change the date card if you've decided guests have had them. Their responses are coming back. It's not too late. You can send the change the date. I've had it by mail and by email,
Sure.
whatever works depending on your time frame.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. I mean, people get it. We all know what's going on. So
Yeah, I'm sure it's not a surprise for those guests.
exactly. I mean, a lot of them are kind of holding back their responses at the same time because they don't know. So it's not, everyone's being understanding. So
Yeah, absolutely. So in that same vein, what are some creative ways you've seen clients maybe reuse some of their pieces or allow guests to kind of repurpose their invitation in some way if they already have it in hand?
yeah, that's the one like the beautiful invitation that goes out and then it sort of like translates over to a change the date card that, let's face it, it's put together quickly. It's not the most beautiful piece in the paper suite.
Right.
So it is unfortunate to think, okay, that's something they may discard and then they're holding on to this one change the date card that we kind of did in a mad rush. So there have been several people who we've had these conversations with, like, how do we salvage that invitation? That was so pretty. And it's literally like 2 lines of this otherwise perfect piece that we need to change. So we're working on a couple now, and I wish I had a sample to hold up, but the way I envision them, they'll be really fun. And it's a separate mailing. It's a little card, like a little instructions card, and enclosed in it is like a little updated sticker / label. So the actual instructions on the card is along the lines of like change our date, but each little step is sort of like, okay, toast us from afar. Step 1, toast us from afar, the old date. Step 2, mark your invitation with this new date. Step 3, practice your dance moves for the next 12 months or something along those lines. So they're still holding on to that really fun piece and not, the afterthought card that went out and again, like a mad dash.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I love that couples are still having fun and being somewhat lighthearted about this very challenging and heartbreaking situation. So
Right.
I'm sure their guests appreciate a little bit of that lightness.
Yeah, a little upbeat.
Yeah. Oh, that's so fun. What a great idea. So one question we've been hearing from a lot of our clients and couples is how do we communicate with our guests? That's the biggest question we get. So they've made this choice to postpone. Maybe they've sent invitations. Maybe they've sent to save the date. How are we communicating with our guests about that date change? Maybe a hotel block has changed. Maybe a meal choice has changed. What are your suggestions for that?
I mean, pretty much for any up-to-date information, this is something I would have said 6 months ago, even when we were talking about what about transportation or whatever. Any sort of very specific and fluid information needs to be housed on the website always. So if it is okay, and this goes on save the dates and everything for that reason, for any sort of, and maybe it would be worded differently moving forward, but I would definitely tell guests that everything is on the website. Just keep checking back for more information and keep updating it as you know things. I have had one thus far, I mean, this will probably change, but I have one client now that is putting on the response card just asking everyone for their email address and wording it so that if something needs to be updated, it will be done by email. And I thought that was clever too. As long as you have some sort of instant way of giving giving them info, you're in a good place.
Yeah, absolutely. And that the importance of that website kind of goes back to one of your earlier points too, with the electronic RSVP. Most websites will let you do that. So you can kind of accomplish all of those things in one place. So Wonderful. Well, this has been so helpful and insightful. I think this is one of the areas that a lot of couples really just don't know how to navigate. There's a lot of etiquette information out there, and it's so hard to know the best way to approach communication, but it's the most important. All of these guests are sitting at home wondering what's
Right.
next.
Right. Absolutely.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being here
Thank
with us, Sarah. This was
you.
really fun, and it was good to see you.
Nice
All
to see you too.
right. Have a great day.
Bye bye.